Hey yo, what up everybody? So today I want to have a conversation with you guys about Konohamaru Sarutobi, and I'm gonna keep it 125% with you. Dude, Konohamaru, a lot of people feel as if Konohamaru has been a bit of a disappointment in the Boruto anime as well as the manga. Now, to be fair, he has had some shine in the manga. I'm not gonna spoil that for the anime only viewers because the anime is currently getting ready to move into a couple of arcs that are set between the end of the Boruto tuning exams and what's taking place in the manga right now with the arc that started everything off with the Majina Bandits arc. So we're in that in-between arc, okay? We're in that in-between funky period. So I don't want to spoil this because there's a possibility that probably in the fall, you guys are going to see some of the things that a lot of the manga fans know, the ones who read the manga. A lot of fans know the fights in particular that I'm referring to when it comes to Konohamaru, but that still hasn't stopped the fact that a lot of people feel as if Konohamaru's been a bit of a disappointment. And so today, I not only want to address that, but I also want to kind of bring up the possibility of whether or not Konohamaru has Sage Mode and if Konohamaru needs it. Now, I'm just going to put my personal bias on the table. I enjoy Konohamaru as a character. I always wanted to see him growing up, so he has a soft spot in my heart. However, taking my bias out of the equation, I do think Konohamaru's been a huge letdown in the series. Like when we got that scene when Konohamaru was fighting against the mutated white Zetsu, which it's implied that these white Zetsus are a lot stronger than the ones that took part in the 4th Great Ninja War. Like I was expecting Konohamaru to have his Kakashi moment, like how Kakashi fought against Zabuza in the Land of Waves arc. I was expecting Konohamaru to have that moment where we get to see what Konohamaru could do. We could see whether or not this is the true grandson of the 3rd Hokage, a guy who, when he didn't start the 2nd and 3rd Great Ninja War, he was a guy who mastered all the hidden jutsu that all the clans in the Hidden Leaf Village, or had knowledge of all the jutsu in the Hidden Leaf Village and had mastery over all 5 changes in chakra nature. A guy who was so powerful that even in his old age, he was stated in the manga to be stronger than the current Kage at the time. So that means he was stronger than A, which is absolutely crazy when you think about it. But I was expecting to have that huge knockdown, drag out, slug him out fight with Konohamaru, where we got to see this guy either beasting or just in a fight for his life, a fight for survival, right? And then we find out, oh, well, Sasuke came in and took care of these white Zetsu off screen, and we didn't really get to see that happen, and apparently Sasuke just neg-diffed him. And so that makes you look at Konohamaru like, dog, what are you doing? Like, are you really about that ninja life? But this brings me to the next part. Does Konohamaru need Sage Mode? And I've seen a lot of people saying this. In fact, if you go all the way back to like episode 4, 5, 6, somewhere around then in the Boruto anime, I want to say it's episode 4. That should be the boys versus girls episode. And in that episode, if I'm not mistaken, you had Konohamaru summon one of the toads from Mount Miyaboku. And a lot of people at the time were like, well, he's got the scroll on the back. Clearly, he's done some type of sage training. And it make a lot of sense because, I mean, the dude did idolize Naruto and he followed in Naruto's footsteps to a certain degree, learned jutsu from Naruto, and even learned jutsu like the giant ball Rasengan without Naruto teaching him. So it would make sense that Naruto passed down the Sage Mode to Konohamaru. It would make sense. However, when we start talking about does he need it, I do think that we need to have this dude get the power up, or else we're gonna see a scenario where the members of his team just run away in terms of power away from him. Don't get me wrong, like even when you look at Kakashi in Team 7, even when you look at that, Kakashi, you could still relatively scale Kakashi at different parts in the series to the members of Team 7. Now, I know it's gonna trigger some people, so let me just break down what I mean. So when you got to like the early parts of Shippuden, or when you got to the Naruto manga around volume 28, 29, 30, there was still a sense when you were reading the manga that, yeah, Naruto had this crazy Nine Tails power inside of him, and at the time, we didn't know the full extent of what the Nine Tails could do, and yet at the same time, you always had this sense like Kakashi was still a few steps ahead of the members of Team 7, whether it be experience or whether it just be in raw power. The guy debuted the Mangekyo out of nowhere, so it showed the dude was getting stronger and had these crazy abilities. And it wasn't until you got to around volume 50 in the manga that it became clear, like, oh yeah, like they've surpassed him. Like Sasuke Sasuke's clearly surpassed him, or at least you would think so. But Naruto, after the pain arc wrapped up around volume 49, you knew, like, okay, this is it. He surpassed him. During the 5 Kage summit, even Kakashi was acknowledging like Sasuke's had real battle experience. He's had real battle experience, and that was implying like at this point in time, Sasuke was stronger than Kakashi, even though Sasuke was fatigued. And so you started seeing him getting left behind at that point. Now, when you look at where we're in the Boruto story, I'm not saying it's gonna follow the same framework as Naruto, but when you start looking at it, the seeds are already there. Like Boruto has the jounin, which I've talked about in another video, where some of the anime artists and some of the people that work on the anime have said that the jounin is gonna be more powerful than the tensegan, and it's gonna have stuff like the Kyuubi's ability to sense negative emotions, but it's gonna have better sensory skills than anything that the Kyuubi's able to do with Naruto. And Boruto has a karma seal, which is absolutely insane, gives him an insane stat boost, enough so that even Hokage Naruto was impressed by it. You have Sarada, who's eventually gonna get the Mangekyo. You have Mitsuki, who has Sage Mode and is probably gonna get that Sage Mode boost even higher as he gets stronger. And so when you start looking at Konohamaru, the question becomes like, dude, what do you really have to offer to your team? Like, what do you have to offer? Like, when it comes to experience, yeah, sure, but Boruto and them, especially in the anime, they're gaining real experience. When you start looking at whether or not Konohamaru has actually taught them, clearly, based on what's happened in this arc that takes place in the Hidden Stone Village, there are some gaps there. Konohamaru is not the best teacher. There are some huge gaps in judgment there. And so that really makes me question whether or not Konohamaru is going to be fodder. Now, I do think that if he were to get Sage Mode, I think it'd be really cool if Konohamaru did get Sage Mode, because it showed that he's getting stronger, and it would show that he's on that path towards being the 8th Hokage. It would show that he is deserving to be the teacher for the child of Orochimaru, for the child of Naruto, for the child of Sasuke. It would make a lot of sense. It would give us a huge payoff. And the other thing that's really important, it would be really cool if they debuted something new, which would be something like a monkey Sage Mode. I think that'd be really cool. Like, you could have some great designs. And you know, I know a lot of people bash Ikimoto for what he's done in the manga. What you got to keep in mind too, though, is Ikimoto did a lot of the designs for characters that we all love. Like, he did the design for Haku and Zabuza. He did the design for Gaara. So I mean, Ikimoto can draw when he puts his mind to it. Even like when you look at Kashi and Koji, it's absolute badass design. Jigen is a badass design. And so if you give Konohamaru a new Sage Mode and you start using fur and all this other stuff, I think that you could get a really radical design with Konohamaru. And so I think from a aesthetic standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. I think from a marketing standpoint, Boruto is one of the most profitable shows that are on TV Tokyo. It was consistently ranked as one of the top 5 most profitable anime for TV Tokyo. I know a lot of people in the West in particular don't care for Boruto, but in Japan it's very popular. So that does make sense. I mean, it's popular enough they moved it out of prime time and they put it on that Sunday morning block so it can compete with some of those more popular shows. That's a huge power move. So the anime's doing well, and I think that when it comes to merchandise sales and everything, giving Konohamaru an extra ability, a change in appearance via Sage Mode, it'd be really, really smart. Now, with that being said, I do think that we run the risk of making Sage Mode something that is, for lack of better words, something that is oversaturated. I think that we run the risk of Sage Mode being oversaturated because too many people are getting Sage Mode at this point. We're getting too many things that it felt like people were working hard to earn in the first part of the story, and the second part, now it's just being handed out. So you run that risk, but I think that when you start looking at the threats that are looming currently in the Boruto manga, Konohamaru has to step up, because one thing that is going to be clear, Boruto is going to be a target. Boruto's going to be a target. He's gotten on the radar of some really important people, and so because of that, Konohamaru has to be able to protect him. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Konohamaru needs to have Sage Mode? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.